going to need a little.
And we're back here at John Miller Field. Circle Tap, about an hour and 12-minute rain delay scheduled, 12 p.m. start time. Blair Setford, Laurie Cook-Baird with you on the ISC Network. It is the Circle Tap Dukes, the visitors, taking on the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. And Laurie, after an hour rain delay, everybody's got to get mentally reset, get back into this one.
That's right. They look like they're ready to go, and it's tough after a rain delay like that to be mentally to bounce back, but they look like they stayed strong, stayed focused, and they're ready to go.
So, stepping in for the Dukes will be Ryan Sinclair. He'll be followed by Federico Eder, Manuel Godoy, Blair Ezekiel, Tyler Dudley, Matt Ratliff, Josh White, Zane Van Lieshout, and in the 9 spot, Leo Latassa. Brady Woods out on the board for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Pitching to Zach Warren. Brady, the lefty from Manitoba in Canada, or in the Winnipeg area. And Laurie, you were watching Brady warm up prior to the rain delay. Really liked the motion, the smoothness, the fluidity in his delivery, as well as the spin.
Yeah, absolutely. He's nice and smooth. He's strong. His motion is simple. His spin is tight. Beautiful drop, beautiful rise, nice curve, and nice changeup. He keeps everything simple and efficient.
Took a little bit off that one there, but it was missed upstairs. So 2 balls, 1 strike to Ryan Sinclair, leading things off.
Yep.
Ryan from Australia, but has been up here for the last several years with the Circle Tap team. And foul back out of play. He's throwing me off because he's wearing number 18. Normally he's got 65 on. I was second guessing myself, looking at, is that Ryan Sinclair?
Right.
He is normally 65.
Right.
So I don't know whether somebody forgot a jersey at home today. We've had a couple of those this week, and those are team finds, of course.
Oh,
Woods
nice try.
just misses
Yes.
inside for
Gorgeous.
ball 4. Good pitch there, but just can't catch the corner. So a leadoff walk for Ryan Sinclair. Set the defense for you for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, left to right. Across the outfield, Jacob Rook, Yusuf Davis, BJ Gullock, and around the horn, Derek Mason, Jerome Bartarillo, Chris Heinlein, Jeff Lewis out at first base. And again, Brady Woods pitching to Zach Warren. Slap bunt, fouled that one back into the screen. Federico Eder has been on fire in this tournament. At the top with batting average, well over 600. Near the top in RBIs. A couple of home runs in this tournament. He is having a gem so far here this week. He's driving the Circle Tap Dukes. And again, the slap right to Brady Woods. Turn, shot put, throw to second base. Brady Woods not happy with himself there. That's a bit of a tough play for a left-handed pitcher, Laurie. You got to get turned, get the feet set, and it looked like he never took a step forward with the throw, and he just shot putted it right into the ground.
Yeah, and it looked like it was a hit and run. If you saw that runner had a real nice jump on that. So it was a difficult play to make. Difficult.
So E1 on Eder as he's aboard. And the E1 really is on Sinclair advancing to first, and I guess really more of a fielder's choice for Federico Eder. That'll bring up Manuel Godoy. Manuel consistently over the last several years, one of the better hitters in ISC, and an opportunity here for the Circle Tap Dukes to break out in front. When they've been able to get in front early, they have won the games. It's when Circle Tap has had to come from behind that they've struggled a bit this summer. And swinging a foul back by
Nice pitch.
Manuel Godoy.
Yeah, I really like the fact that he's getting ahead now. So his first pitch strike ratio has gone up quickly.
From a pitching standpoint, what's the mental difference when you're pitching ahead versus having to pitch from behind? I mean, we talk a lot about that up here in the booth, but none of us
Absolutely.
have been pitchers.
Yeah, you have to get ahead in the count. It's absolutely imperative. When you get that first pitch strike,
Sorry, I just want to interject here because I'm wondering if something has happened with Brady Woods. He's taking a long walk out behind the mound. We got the coaching staff out there. The catcher is out, and Brady Woods bent over at the waist. You see it there. And I'm wondering whether he strained something on that throw to second base, whether he just threw the shoulder off. He's going to do a bit of landscaping, but sometimes when you're throwing underhand, you turn around, you have to go throw overhand. It's just a totally different motion, and maybe he tweaked something in the arm or the shoulder.
Right. He looked a little off balanced, and so he could have tweaked something. But the first pitch strike is the most important pitch that not only gets you ahead in the count, and my favorite quote is get ahead with strikes and make the batter basically chase balls, get the out with balls. So it's really important because it makes the strike zone bigger when you get a first pitch strike and you're not relying on the umpire to call the pitches, and so then you can basically throw balls and get the out.
0-1 pitch here to Manuel Godoy, turns bunt, and this one is just going to go foul down the left side. Derek Mason was back on the bag, and Manuel Godoy saw where Mason was, tried to push it down that way, but just foul. Godoy, not a guy that you would expect the bunt from. He's got plenty of pop, but trying to take the Knights by surprise. I like the aggressive play there, even though I'm not a huge fan of the short game, as everybody knows.
Yeah, just based on the way that ball bounced off that bat, I can see that was a curveball that came in, just based on how the spin reversed off the bat and just took it foul.
That's going to go foul up and out of play on the left side. We'll find that one across the road there somewhere. Somebody will get a quarter for bringing that one back. It's a quarter for foul balls and $1 for home run balls.
Oh, really?
Go get them.
Well, maybe I'll go out and go get some.
If you brought the young kids to the park, it's a good way to get them to pay for their own sodas.
So now he's way ahead in the count, right? 2 strikes.
Yeah, now you've got the opportunity to play with something here, some off speed, try and get Godoy to chase away. Setup is outside.
Gorgeous.
That's where they go, and a good-looking drop ball right over the top goes Manuel Godoy. Down on strikes for the first out of the inning. That will bring up designated player today, Blair Ezekiel. Blair will settle in at the back of that right side batter's box. And this one misses down and in from Brady Woods.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to go in with that drop ball and get a chase on that. Get a ground ball. Maybe get 2 outs.
Ezekiel's going to step out. I was just about to say that Brady Woods taking a long look in, being very deliberate right now with a runner on second base. You want to run through a series of signs and not tip anything. There you see all the signs being flashed there. In, out from Zach Warren. And gets a called strike. Took something off that one a bit. Top of the zone. We were talking off air about how hard it is to throw the change rise ball. Only a couple of guys that, Lori, that you know. But you did say there's somebody here in the Legends tournament that is throwing a change rise.
Absolutely. He's on the Ohio Battery, and his last name is Meyer, and he's got a gorgeous change rise. And I know Darren Zach threw one. And it's an amazing pitch to create backspin and then get the ball to actually come in off speed and look faster, much faster than it's actually traveling.
You just had a look there very quickly at Justin Schofield, who is down warming up in the Fargo bullpen. So whether or not something is bothering Brady Woods, they've got Schofield up early and missing upstairs. So 2 balls, 2 strikes on Blair Ezekiel. You don't want to hang anything up in the zone to Blair Ezekiel. Change up again.
Nice.
This one drops.
One of my favorite things about Tyler is the respect he shows for the game. He always gives that catcher a bat tap on the shin guards and then goes to the umpire and gives him.
Is flared out to center. Coming across, Yusuf Davis will have a can of corn on that one. So they strand 2. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning. Fargo, Kegel Black Knights coming to the plate.
Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
You double off. Yep. I was surprised not to see an infield switch there. I mean, a shift.
Here talking strategy, science in softball, and we're going to touch on a lot of this over the course of this one between the Circle Top Dukes and the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. If you're just getting back in with us on the ISC Network, Blair Setford, Laurie Cook-Baird for this one. For the Black Knights, Yusuf Davis, Chris Heinlein, Derek Mason, Tyrone Bartarillo, Mike Lewis, BJ Gullick, Zach Warren, Jacob Rook, Jeff Lewis, and of course Brady Woods pitching but not hitting. And for the Dukes on defense, Zane Van Lieshout, Ryan Sinclair, Matt Ratliff, left to right in the outfield, Josh White, Federico Eater, Tyler Dudley, Manuel Godoy, and it is Ramon Godoy pitching to Leo Latasa. Yusuf Davis coming to the plate down in Lima, Peru, and takes a called strike. Davis, one of the great young players on Team USA, and I want to say one of the greater young players in the game as a whole. Not just on the field, but he gets the promotion idea of softball off the field. Yusuf Davis does streaming of games all summer long, just wants to help promote the game, get it out there on social media, and I love that about the players who are willing to take the initiative.
Absolutely. He's a class act. He loves the game. He wants to see the game grow, and he shares the game worldwide.
Team USA men's team, another silver medal at the Pan Am Games. They've got a collection of those over the years, running into Canada, who had won every Pan Am Games gold medal up until this year when they failed to qualify, having a tough qualifier a year ago down in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Came sixth in a group of six, did not qualify. Argentina stepped in to fill the void, and they may very well have won that tournament anyway. The double Goy, a part of that group, as was Leo Latasa and Manuel Godoy and Federico Eater. On Yusuf, we'd like to line up a foot race with, and he's going to be one of the guys that fouls that one back. Good off-speed pitch from Ramon Godoy. He's got a world-class changeup. And, Laura, you saw a lot of Ramon Godoy last year up in Kitchener. Your thoughts?
I think he's a fabulous pitcher. His strength is his changeup. He's got a beautiful changeup. It's nasty, and he can come in with that high heater. And well, he just took Yusuf out on a nice drop ball, but he can come back after throwing that nice changeup and come back with either a down pitch, beautiful pitches. But his changeup is his. That's what allows him to.
He throws really hard, and then he can gear down and drop in that 60-mile-an-hour changeup coming down from about 80, 81. It's a tough pitch to handle, and it just, of course, accentuates the hard stuff even more.
Absolutely. The faster the changeup and the more nastier the changeup is, the faster the pitch is and the more nastier the changeup is, then the more effective the pitcher will be.
Chris Heinlein swings over that drop. Chris Heinlein having a good tournament as well for Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Suspect he might be in consideration for an all-world nod at the end of the week. And chases upstairs. So Godoy right now looks like he's got all three pitches going, a drop, a rise, and the change. And that can be a very difficult combination to handle when a pitcher's got all three of them working.
Absolutely. Once you have the 6-12, the 12-6, and the changeup, you've slayed the tiger. And Godoy has absolutely done that.
Here's a little flare. That's going to fall into left field. Heinlein's got good wheels. A big turnaround first. The throw will come back in, and right now as an outfielder, you've got to be very careful with that slippery ball and make sure that your throw is accurate coming back into the infield. So Heinlein aboard with a single. That will bring up Derek Mason, one of the best hitters in the game from British Columbia up in Western Canada. It was Derek Mason a couple of nights ago with that rocket line drive off the right arm just below the elbow of Adam Falkert that had a lot of people wondering if Adam would be back. Indeed he was last night. Had a compression wrap around the right elbow and forearm area where he took that ball.
And that was on his pitching arm, correct?
It was on his pitching arm. He went 6 strong last night, only gave up 1 run. Ultimately, the Chiefs going down 2-1 with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 7th by Juan Zera. So you will see, if you stay around with us here on the ISC Network later tonight, that winner's bracket final. The defending champions, the New York Gremlins, and the Kitchener-Hallman Cubs, as Mason swings over the top of that offering from Roman Godoy. That had some zip on it.
That was great. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We got a little ball to play before we get to that undefeated game. If you win, you stay in. If you lose, well, you're off to Circle Tap to the beer garden.
So it looks like he shook off the pitch. Let's see what Godoy wants to throw on a 1-2 count.
They go outside, and that one ends up well up and out of the zone. Latassa set up outside at the last second and then had to reach back in. So I don't think he and Latassa are quite on the same page there. And a changeup out in front. Derek Mason swinging, and a real beauty there from Roman Godoy. Again, the great equalizer. If you can throw 80 and gear down to 60, you'll get a lot of people out on that front foot.
That was absolutely phenomenal. You'll see his form was identical. He did not show that pitch at all.
And that's key, too, because there are people who will tip the change. You can see it coming, just in change. Snap throw down back is Chris Heinlein. Latassa's got a cannon behind the plate, well known for being one of the toughest guys to steal on in the game. They're going to ask on the swing, did he go? And I didn't see the sign, but yes, he did. I thought he did at watching it live as well. So 0-1 on Tyrone Bartarillo. Bartarillo, of course, a member of the New Zealand Black Sox, came home without a medal from the WBSC event for the first time since 1980. The first time that they haven't even been in the championship game since 1980.
Yeah, that was quite a shocker.
This one chopped foul down the left side. On deck batter, Mike Lewis is well away from the plate. If you're not going to go to the other side, at least stay well back so you don't end up wearing a foul ball.
So 2 outs, 0-2.
See if the skipper is willing to put Chris Heinlein in motion. 0-2 with your 4 batter at the plate. If you get thrown out, you don't have much to lose here. Missing downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tyrone Bartarillo. Davis strikeout. Chris Heinlein single. Derek Mason strikeout on the changeup. That gets us to Tyrone Bartarillo where we're at.
Being this far ahead in the count, it gives Godoy options. So,
and reaching out and almost tomahawking this one out to left field, Tyrone Bartarillo shows why he's one of the best hitters in the world. Just taking that pitch where it's thrown and willing to go the opposite way with it. There are a lot of people who will try to pull that pitch and end up grounding out to the pitcher or the shortstop, not Tyrone Bartarillo.
right, he just literally stuck his bat out there and poked it right into left field.
So a little meeting on the mound for the Dukes. You see Federico Eder amongst others out there. Blair Setford, Laurie Cook Baird with you on the ISC Network here. If you're just getting back in with us after the rain delay, we resume play at about 1:12 p.m., about 1:32 by my Mickey right now. And we're in the bottom of the first inning, scoreless as you see, between the Circle Tap Dukes, the Kegel Black Knights. Mike Lewis, the designated player for Kegel, coming to the plate. A couple of runners aboard here, just as we had in the top of the inning, couple of runners. And now we'll see how Ramon Godoy bears down.
I just love Godoy's posture. The way he's able to take all of his weight, all of his mass, and explode that into his pitch. It's just phenomenal. Good miss.
He really uses the whole body. When you watch Ramon Godoy, he gets the hips clear, he pushes off strong with the legs, and then drives down with the arm extension to provide that velocity that he's got.
You'll see right here, got all of his weight on his front foot, then he transferred it all back. And then that firm front side resistance is just incredible. I mean, he's pushing back as hard as he can so he can convert all of that weight into the velocity of the pitch.
So 2 balls, 1 strike to Mike Lewis. A shake of one. Looked like a subtle shake of another, and time called as Latassa and Godoy can't get onto the same page. And there's the changeup, and that one misses just off the outside corner. Our blue crew here this afternoon behind the plate, Charlie Johnson. Over at first base, it is Ray Mora, and third base, Matthew Leclerc. And there's a called strike on the outside corner. So we'll run the count to full. Runners will be on the move, 2 out. Mike Lewis, the batter, trying to extend this inning for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. They had a marathon game yesterday, a 13-inning affair to get to this one. 3-2 winners over the San Antonio Titans. And swing and a miss.
Beautiful.
Got him with the outside drop ball just off the outside corner. Godoy racks up 3 strikeouts, strands 2, through 1 complete. We're scoreless. Stay with us.
Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM, operating from the 6 nations of the Grand River Territory, is dedicated to the promotion of Indigenous culture, positive initiatives, language, and music to our youth. We offer a unique blend of top 40, hip-hop, R&B programming, and Indigenous music. You can count on Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM to help your voice be heard. Our interactive call-in shows feature locally produced news, sports, health, current affairs, and social issues. Unique programming with an Indigenous perspective. Listen live at jukasaradio.ca or download the Jukasa Radio app free from your app store.
So we're back here on the ISC Network just discussing off-air about the differences between Leo Latassa and Ramon Godoy right now, just not quite seeming on the same page.
Yeah, there just seems to be a little bit of an out-of-syncness between the two of them, and I'm not quite sure if it's the fact that they haven't seen some of these batters before, or if they're just, the game delay maybe had some sort of impact on sort of where they are mentally. But let's see if they can tighten up their game and become a tighter battery as this game goes on.
Well, I'm just going to check. I have this vague recollection of the Dukes playing the Knights back at the Boys of Summer tournament right here at Circle Tap in July. As this one, first pitch swinging, lifted out to left field and making the grab over in foul territory. So ranging a long way over was Jacob Rook, but he gets Matt Ratliff for the first out of the inning. And first pitch swinging.
Yeah, and that was a first pitch ball too.
Yeah, you'd like a little bit more patience. No need to have to go chase after the first pitch unless it is right down the middle and what you're looking for. Josh White will step in. Josh has been up and down in the lineup for Circle Tap.
Good. So he seems to have found his rhythm. Brady seems a lot more relaxed this inning, getting ahead in the count.
Change up. This one pulled foul down the left side. Scott Standifer, who will go into the ISC Hall of Fame as a manager next year. Congratulations to Scott. Had an opportunity to chat briefly with him this morning as we were all arriving at the park together. And deeply humbled and honored by being nominated for the Hall by the ISC Board of Directors at this year's meeting. And he will be inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame at next year's World Tournament in Moline, Illinois.
That's amazing. That's pretty close to where I live.
Well, we'll have to make sure that we do this again next year.
Yes.
Moline not too far from Bloomington?
Nope. It's in Illinois, which is, when it comes to Illinois, nothing's really too far from each other, right?
Had a notion to chase upstairs. I don't think he's swung at that one. No, says our umpire.
It was a good check. So is next year an anniversary of some sort?
74th.
Okay.
The big one will be Kitchener in 2021 when it will be the 75th ISC World Tournament. And this one fouled again by Josh White. Yes, we've got some plans that are beginning to take shape for the 75th anniversary. A couple of ad hoc committees were formed, some funding was put in place, and we are going to make sure that we celebrate our 75th anniversary in style in Kitchener.
That's going to be wonderful.
Called strike three. Down goes Josh White. Good-looking pitch from Brady Woods. Looked like a bit of a curveball on the outside corner. Good pitch to throw from the lefty to that righty to go with the curveball.
How many pitches did he throw?
He looked like he threw, I want to say, 5 or 6. White fouled off a couple there at 0-2.
I didn't see him throw a ball, did you?
I don't think so. Kind of found the zone there. So Zane Van Lieshout will step in. And this one down low again. They seem to be working exclusively down right now. I'm wondering if the rise ball is up and out of the zone too much right now with Brady. But curves and drop balls seem to be the order of the day at the moment.
When I was watching him warm up, I did see when he did call for the up pitch with his catcher, his ball was coming in with 3 to 9 spin.
That looked like a bit of a low rise from Brady, maybe a bit of a hook to it as well.
So sometimes as a pitcher, if your spin's off or it's not quite what you want it to be on that rise ball, at least you have other angles. You know, you can go 4 to 10 or 5 to 11, and you can get the pop-ups out of those. But if it's flat, then it's probably a better idea to stay down.
Yeah, exactly. If it's flat, it's not going to stay in the yard for long.
No, it's not.
So 0-2, Brady Woods doing a good job of working ahead here this inning. Van Lieshout looks at this one just off the outside corner. Good waist pitch. 1-2 now the count. 2 down here in the inning. Matt Ratliff, a fly ball. Josh White down on strikes.
Yeah, Brady's really testing that umpire. He's really trying to see how far he can take that pitch outside and get a called strike.
And there's the changeup swing over the top, a beauty. We've got a couple of guys who have got it going here this afternoon. Brady Woods and Ramon Godoy. It's early, but it's looking like a good pitching battle. Stay with us. We're headed to the bottom of the second.
The annual Boys of Summer Tournament is held every July at Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill on the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer Tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at ct16@greenbaynet.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
could be. Talking pitching science here again with Laurie Cook-Baird in between innings and just commenting on the spin that Brady Woods was getting in between the innings. It was more of a 3-9, you were saying, and not the true
6 to 12,
6
correct.
to 12 that he gets on that rise
Right,
ball.
right. And I don't know if that's a matter of just the ball being a bit, moist because it has touched the grass a few times, and if he's just, what's going on there. But he seems to be sticking with that axis rather than going 6 to 12. And he did have a couple of nice 6 to 12 spins coming in during the warm-ups, but I haven't really seen that pitch since this game has started.
No, he seemed to throw the one rise ball there, which was more of a rise curve at the time.
Correct.
And he looks like he's put that away for now.
Right.
Might come back and feature that later in the game just as a bit of a show-me pitch. Right now, it's B.J. Gullick, Zach Warren, and Jacob Rooks. 6-7-8 for Fargo Kegel Black Knights. They will step in to face Roman Godoy. And looks like we're getting the sky breaking up just a little bit out to right field and beyond, as we did have about an hour's worth of pretty good rain there, a bit of a Wisconsin Midwest storm right around the noon hour. 1 ball, 1 strike to B.J. Gullick, the veteran.
Godoy is just so explosive.
Change up, tapped on the infield, backing up to take that is second baseman Tyler Dudley. And a lot of times, Laura, you want your infielder charged, but that would have put him on the in-between hop and made the right choice knowing that he had time with B.J. Gullick running.
Yeah, Tyler's with Team USA as well, and he's a skilled infielder, and he made a good choice there.
Zach Warren, now the catcher, coming up to the plate. And this one misses upstairs from Godoy, ball 1.
It was surprising to see a rise ball on his first pitch.
Comes back with the inside rise again, and 1 ball, 1 strike, getting the call. And just blows this one right by Zach Warren.
Ooh,
and there's the changeup, and can't hold back. Zach Warren down on strikes. That's the 3rd victim he's got for, it's his 4th strikeout, but 3 of them by way of the changeup with 2 strikes. Now, you don't want to fall into that pattern because the Kegel team will pick up on that and start looking forward to 2 strikes. But right now, he's really got it working.
Yeah.
That'll bring up Jacob Rook, the left fielder.
The way Zach just sort of walked away with his head down, I mean, he could not hold back.
No, that pitch looks so good coming out of the hand. You're well in front of the pitch. You're out on the front foot, and then it just dies at the plate. It's got that tumbling trajectory to it, and there's nothing you can do with that as a batter.
And when you've got a pitch coming in 80 miles an hour, we're talking about a little bit more than a third of a second reaction time. That's not a lot of time. So it's not a lot of time to make a decision, to swing or not swing, and so being able to come in with a speed change like that, I mean, it's pretty nasty.
There's a rise ball. That, I don't even know why we had to go ask on that one. He barely flinched. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 down here in the inning. Rook, the 8 batter.
I think that's just how we get in the batter's head, don't you think?
And this one right back up the middle. And that goes out to center fielder Ryan Sinclair. Jacob Rook, good bit of hitting there, just taking that pitch right back where it came from. They'll turn over the order. Jeff Lewis, the 9 batter. And Jeff Lewis has very quietly had himself a good week here, too, getting some production in the 9 spot for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. And when you can get your 9 batter on base, collecting RBIs, scoring runs, the depth in that lineup really helps. That's what wins you ball games. And that pitch just off the outside corner. Latasa wondering where that pitch might have missed. And pretty much the same pitch and pretty much the same results. So 2-0. And they've found the outside limit right now for Charlie Johnson's strike zone.
Absolutely.
And wanted to go upstairs. We're going to check again. And 3-0 is the result. Didn't really get a sign from either of the base umpires, so I'm not sure if that was just Charlie Johnson making a courtesy move. And ball 4. So Godoy temporarily loses the strike zone. And Lori, when that happens, how do you mentally reset?
Shake it off. You got to shake it off. You got to treat every single pitch like it's the first pitch of the game. And you have to treat, even though you're acutely aware of where the batters are or where the runners are and what the score is, you have to reset. You have to mentally reset, and you have to throw the next pitch like it's the first pitch of the game, meaning don't hold back.
And I think that's the message being delivered right now by catcher Leo Latasa. It was a one-way conversation from Leo to Roman. The rest of the infield gathered to hear it. Also probably talking about, remember, the speed of Yusuf Davis, the top of the shop for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Yusuf down on strikes in the first. We'll see now who has made the adjustment second time through. Davis swings at that first pitch.
Comes right out swinging.
Well, that pitch was right in the zone for Davis. You would often like to, as a batter, you just see a pitcher issue a 4-pitch walk. Maybe you want to take one. But for Yusuf Davis, it was right there. I like the aggressiveness. And swinging again. So very quickly, Roman Godoy ahead of Yusuf Davis, 0-2. That walk also sparked some action down in the Circle Top bullpen. Looks to me like it is Leighton Reed, but he's got a jacket. Oh, maybe that was Daniel Chapman.
Yeah, and back to the first pitch strike importance. I mean, he knows that if he's going to throw that nice of a pitch, that first pitch, that after that he's not going to see anything close to that nice.
They creep out way outside for the setup. Latasa does a good job to block this one, about a 45.5-footer, and they keep the runners at first and second. Lori, a 3-man pitching staff for the Circle Top Dukes, all of them 24 and under. Daniel Chapman, who is throwing down in the bullpen, is 21, and they've got an 18-year-old kid by the name of Leighton Reed from Australia, who was the gold medal winner at the U19 championship last year up in Prince Albert in Saskatchewan, threw a no-hitter for Australia in the championship game against Japan. And this kid might be the next Adam Falker, just a phenom at the age of 18 here in the men's game.
That's exciting.
Davis, a good eye here at the plate. He's gone from 0-2 to 3-2.
That was phenomenal. That was some great pitch watching there.
So 2 down, full count. Pair of runners aboard for Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Leadoff batter, Yusuf Davis at the plate. Godoy shakes one. Can't get on the same page again with Latasa. And this is really interesting, Lori. These guys, they had an hour to talk about this during the rain delay, what their attack, their game plan was going to be, but they're just not on the same page out there.
No, they're not. They're disagreeing, and
high hopper on the infield coming across the shortstop. Eater, snap throw. They get the speedy
Wow.
Davis. That is
Amazing
some
play.
solid defense there by Federico Eater. He's been doing it all week. He does it again here today and gets Roman Godoy out of a jam in the second. Through 2 complete. We're scoreless. Stay with us on the ISC Network.
35 gallons.
If a man runs for president, interviews for a high-level job, or needs a good table at a smart restaurant, chances are he'll be wearing a suit. Mr. Ned is your custom tailor in New York City. Located at 137 Fifth Avenue, we provide our clients with the highest quality custom suits at affordable pricing. Our range of fabrics is second to none and will fit the needs of any well-dressed professional. Whether it be everyday business attire or a special occasion, we have the ability to make you a man of distinction. Visit the store at 137 Fifth Avenue in New York or see us online at mrnednyc.com. We thank Mr. Ned and Var Matosian for generously supporting the broadcast program.
So Brady Woods back out on the board for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, and we're just comparing notes on all the national team players in the lineups here. And Laura, you just asked about Mexico. There were a number of Mexican players, national team players, who were here that were on the JMB Bombers team, eliminated yesterday afternoon by the Circle Tap Dukes in the losers bracket. But team that I managed, Three Cheers Pub, played them earlier in the week, and that team, the JMB Bombers, a combination of Venezuelan and Mexican national team players with a Canadian and a transplanted Canadian who lives in the U.S. thrown in for good measure.
Okay.
So the 9-batter for the Circle Tap Dukes, Leo Latasa.
So this is the catcher.
And takes a called strike. Good opener again. Brady Woods doing a really good job of getting ahead of the batters. Brady, I think, roughly in his mid-30s now, I want to say, for Fargo.
So he's a very experienced pitcher.
Yeah, he's been on the men's major scene for a long time on the tournament circuit. He's mostly thrown with teams in the Midwest, whether it's been for Canadian Winnipeg-based teams or Fargo area.
Good miss right there. Ahead by 2, and he throws that outside drop. He really, really does a good job of stretching that umpire and seeing what he can get in terms of those outside corner pitches.
And just missed off the outside corner there. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Brought it up just a little. Didn't really move it out more, but brought it up a little. Still didn't get the call. He's a really smart pitcher.
And there's the changeup, and he gets Leo Latasa chasing. Left that changeup up higher in the zone. And again, that can be a difficult pitch to handle as well.
Yeah, also can be a dangerous pitch to throw.
Yeah, you don't want to hang it too much. That one was up near the letters, so it was a good one, but not where you want to hang your changeup all the time. So back to the top of the shop for Ryan Sinclair. Walked and reached second back in the first inning where he was stranded. And misses downstairs.
Yeah, he has a good eye.
It looked like he took something off, but also looked like he tried to aim that pitch a little bit, trying to cut across the front corner of the plate with that one.
Yeah, I'd like to see him pitch a little bit more fearlessly.
And there comes in with that one, but he misses on the outside corner. So a 4-pitch walk to Ryan Sinclair. It's the second time Sinclair has worked a free pass, and we will get to Federico Eder. Eder slapped and went right back to Brady Woods his last trip, but then Woods shot-putted it towards second base and ended up with a couple of runners aboard for his trouble. You've got to be very careful with Eder here right now, who's got lots of pop, and this one skips away from the catcher, Zach Warren, and a free base given up to Ryan Sinclair. So now you don't have to worry so much about the bunt necessarily, but with the speed of Federico Eder, he can put the ball down, easily beat it out. You still got to be very careful as an infielder here, even with a bit of a wet track like we've got right now. Big cut. Just comes up empty. Eder has put some muscle on over the last season or so. Primarily was known as a slapper up until really this year. And the training program that the Argentine team went under over their season in South America to get ready for the World Championships in Prague and then the Pan Am Games in Lima, which was their ultimate goal. A lot of these Argentine players have come back really bulked up on the muscle.
It was a nice pitch. I'm not sure why he didn't swing.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Federico Eder. And this one right back up the middle, just put the bat out. Rounding third, Ryan Sinclair will score easily, and the game's first run comes aboard partly as a result of that wild pitch pass ball, giving up the free base to Ryan Sinclair. He scores from second on the single by Federico Eder.
Yep, and if you look at first pitch balls and first pitch strikes, the chances of that batter that you've thrown a first pitch ball to scoring goes up dramatically. So you'll see that Ryan Sinclair did get a walk, and he did score.
Manuel Godoy will step in. There's a stat also around leadoff walks coming around to score about 2/3 of the time, and happen right there.
Absolutely. It's really important to get a first pitch strike on that leadoff batter of the inning. And in my opinion, I think first pitch strikes on every batter is important.
Real good wheels out on first. And Godoy hit this one so hard into the screen it stuck.
That's funny. So is that one worth more than $1?
Well, if somebody's got the courage to climb up there, yeah, I probably would be worth more than $1. It won't be me, I can tell you that. This one, chop foul, actually hits Godoy in the box, and he'll
dead ball.
Toss it to Brady Woods himself. Yep, dead ball. He was still in the box.
I can't quite see the batter's box anymore, but
it used to be there.
Right.
And then the first batter on each side stepped in, and that was the end of that. Again, fouled off. This one was right off the pads of our catcher, Zach Warren, and rolls out onto the infield. We want to take a quick look at that ball before we get to throw it again.
Is he looking for some sort of Gorilla Glue or something?
No, he just wants to make sure that it wasn't cut by the pad or that there's not a soft spot on it now. The Gorilla Gold, of course, is the cloth. You see it right there on Brady Woods' hip. Mm-hmm. That is an approved substance. Legal? It is a legal grip. It's a grip enhancer. And swinging him foul back.
I do recall at last year's ISCs, though, there was a brown ball that did get removed. And what was it that made that ball turn brown?
So when it gets a little bit tacky and then it rolls through the dirt, it will pick up a little bit of dirt and particle on it. They're on the move. Eder slides in. The throw is high and safe with the stolen base as Federico Eder. So aware, Federico Eder looked left to see where the throw was going to be in mid-stride, about midway between first and second, and then able to adjust where his slide was going to go as the throw was high. So working himself into scoring position, and now Manuel Godoy an opportunity to double the Duke's lead.
A little Baez magic there, huh?
Mm-hmm. Brady Woods falls off the board as he works himself out of balance, and a little levity here from Brady Woods, a bit of a smile as he leaned a little bit too much to his right, and the momentum, the leaning tower of Woods just kept going. Well hit, deep right field, way back and gone. Manuel Godoy gets absolutely all of that one, punishes it out over the bleachers, and you see the power from Manuel Godoy right there.
I think that probably would have been a good time to call timeout, don't you think, once the pitcher loses balance like that?
Well, it's an opportunity to try and get reset, and it looks like that's going to be it for Brady Woods. As on will come Justin Schofield. We'll take a break as Justin Schofield will come in for the warm-up pitches, but it's now 3-0 for the Circle Tap Dukes. Stay with us.
It's the essentials needed to give your team an edge.
Schofield, 4-1 now pitching.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
So who is this coming in?
So back here on the ISC Network, Blair Setford, Lori Cook-Baird, as we see Justin Schofield from Nova Scotia in Atlantic Canada on to pitch. Schofield, real good hard drop. Another guy with a world-class changeup and a hard thrower as well. For Schofield, the issue will be, can he keep the emotions under control? Can he come in and throw strikes? Came into the game the other night, got Steve Mullally on a strikeout, but couldn't keep the momentum rolling and ended up a couple of unearned runs, which didn't help, and he got yanked within about 4 batters. Brady Woods ended up coming back into that game. So Blair Ezekiel will step in. He will be the first guy to face Justin Schofield. No secrets here between these two. They see a lot of each other between ISC and Canadian championships. The usual tournament circuit play. And Ezekiel, first pitch swinging, fouls it straight back. So the Dukes push 3 runs across and counting here in the 3rd inning. And this one skips in, and Ezekiel has to dance out of the way. You do not want to get hit in the ankle by a Justin Schofield drop ball at about 80, 81 miles an hour. Base is empty after that long home run off the bat of Manuel Godoy. And comes in, blows that one past Blair Ezekiel. And took something off there. There's the good changeup from Justin Schofield. That's what makes him so effective. Very similar to Ramon Godoy. Throws hard, a really good drop ball. But the changeup can be something that sets him apart from different pitchers.
Yeah, I was looking at his motion, just studying it, and I did not see that coming, and that was the first changeup of this inning.
Yeah, Schofield has got a unique motion. He jumps almost up as much as he jumps out, but it works for him, and he really throws the ball hard. Canadian junior champion back in, I want to say, 2011, 2012, in that neighborhood. Swing and a miss there, and again, took something off. Came onto the scene with the Toronto Gators back in 2012. Helped the Gators that year to a 5th place finish. Has pitched with the Hill United squad, as well as Minnesota Angels, and now over here with the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Was on Team Canada in 2017, not on the team that went over to Prague. And one of the opportunities for Schof here, working in tandem with Brady Woods, is to get much more innings, not getting any ISC World Tournament innings, pitching behind Adam Falkard. So Schofield over here with Fargo now, and getting the opportunity to get some mound time
Now, how old is he?
Scof would be late 20s.
Okay.
I don't think he's reached 30 yet.
So probably in his physical prime.
He's a specimen. He and I are pretty good friends off the field, too, so we'll laugh at that later.
A specimen.
Upstairs, down goes Tyler Dudley chasing.
Yeah.
So Schofield comes on and gets a pair of strikeouts to end the inning, but the damage done. Ryan Sinclair walks and scores. Federico Eder an RBI, but the big blow, a 2-run home run by Manuel Godoy. It's now 3-0 in favor of the Circle Tap Dukes. Stay with us in the ISC Network.
For all your team uniform and equipment needs, fastball, slow pitch, and hockey, for players and teams, make sure you visit Corbett's Source for Sports on the South Service Road in Oakville, Ontario. There's a lot of deals to be had on all kinds of equipment. Thank you to Paul Hurd and Corbett Source for Sports for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Hopefully that didn't get... His pushback is just phenomenal. I remember last year during ISCs when he pitched and then Cleary went out and Cleary stood in the hole and looked at his catcher and the hole was up to his mid-calf.
Yeah, the difference in the divots and the diamonds here, it can impact a pitcher's motion and where their landing foot comes down, and different guys have different spots and paths, and it does impact each other, and you constantly see the pitchers. Sean Cleary amongst the finest landscapers that we've got here in the ISC.
Absolutely, and that is very different than the women's game in that we tend to create holes at the actual pitcher's
Here's
plate.
a little slow roller up along third, and a good play there by Josh White to come get it and to get Chris Heinlein. Heinlein runs quite well. He's been on Team USA in the past. But it's a good job by Josh White to come get that. You don't want Derek Mason batting with somebody on base if you're a Circle Tap supporter.
Now last time Godoy got him on the changeup, so let's see how he approaches him this time.
Well, that'll be in the back of Derek Mason's mind as this one is upstairs. But one of the finest eyes in men's fast pitch softball at the plate in Derek Mason. One of the best hitters in the middle of the Team Canada lineup. Hits everybody in the game. This
wow.
One, well hit.
Oh.
That right off the top of the fence.
He's
in
going for
center
two.
right. Good strong throw.
Beautiful.
Mason slides in with a double. And the curse of the broadcast there broken by Derek Mason. Usually when we big somebody up, they strike out flailing. But Derek Mason, true to form, a strong double off the top of the fence.
Shortstop number 13, Tyrone Bartorillo.
That'll bring up Tyrone Bartorillo. Bartorillo showed his professional hitting stature the last time through, just sticking the bat out into the zone and a little flare single to left field. But first pitch swinging, and I'm wondering if the adjustment that looked to get after Godoy here early in the count. I've seen a lot more guys going first pitch swinging, second pitch swinging, picking up on the adjustments that Fargo has made, and now it'll be for Roman Godoy and Leo Latassa to make some adjustments on their side.
Which they did. That first pitch was a drop. The last first pitch, which he did poke to left field, was a rise. Nice
good
snag.
play by Godoy. Now they've got Derek Mason hung up. He's going to try and bolt for third, but he's going to run into a tag there. And that's what good fielding pitchers can do. They can take away that lead runner.
That was excellent.
That looked like it was destined for center field, but Godoy just stuck the glove down and was able to catch Derek Mason 4 feet, 5 feet in no man's land off of first base, or second base rather. Bartorillo, as the Kiwis are taught to do, get right up in behind that runner in the rundown and get onto the base. So he is on second base. Fielder's choice. And Mason erased on the rundown. So Mike Lewis at the plate. Mike was down on strikes in the third. It's a bit of a tough break there for Derek Mason as the runner. You think that that ball is going to get through, and then it took an excellent fielding play by Godoy. When you do lessons, Lori, how much importance do you put on being in a good fielding position to end your motion?
Oh, I stress it heavily. It's really important. One of the things I do is I have my pitchers pitch into a brick wall, or typically a racquetball court wall, and I want them to be really close, within 5 feet. And if they're throwing as hard as they can, that ball should come back to them lightning fast, faster than a ball could come back to them in a game, because I want them fielding immediately. So as soon as they let go of the ball, they're in charge of, they're now the ninth fielder.
Called strike on the inside corner to Mike Lewis. 2 balls, 1 strike to the 5-hitter for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Especially with the technology, the way the game has evolved, particularly here on the men's side, but I would have to assume it's very similar on the women's side.
Right.
You've got to be in that good position
Absolutely.
just to protect yourself.
Right. With the composite bats and with the polycore balls, if you aren't in a defensive position, then you are at risk for getting hurt. So it's really important, and as a pitching coach, I think it's your responsibility to make sure that your pitchers do know how to finish their pitch and become a fielder immediately.
Foul back by Mike Lewis.
And a lot of girls and boys are taught and told to become fielders, but they're not actually shown how to do that. So I think that it's important to understand that that's something you can do on your own. Just pitch into a brick wall, and if it's got good top spin, then it's going to come back right at you. If it's in an inefficient spin and the seams are off axis, then it will go left or right. So it's a little bit of instructional as well.
Downstairs, good at bat by Mike Lewis to work the walk. And that will give us a pair of runners aboard, and we'll bring up B.J. Gullick. 2 down here on the inning, and an opportunity for Fargo. You don't want to let these squander. They already stranded 2 back in the first and in the second. So 4 runners left on base already by Fargo, and we're just here in the 3rd inning. Got to start taking advantage of the opportunities when they come along.
Right. No, he hit it.
Daniel Chapman again down in the bullpen for Circle Tap, but he's doing as much spectating as he is throwing down there.
He's thinking about that ball up there, Blair.
Yeah.
And he's wondering how much he could get for getting it.
Well, Daniel Chapman doesn't need to worry about picking up dollars here. You got a good view, an umpire's view right here. Setup is outside and just poked foul.
Did a good job of fouling that off.
Yeah, good back control there by B.J. Gullick.
That's something important as well to teach batters, that if they don't want the pitch, to just foul it off. But don't leave it up to the umpire. Not with 2 strikes.
Nope, not at all. Trust the hands. And time by Godoy. He'll just step off.
Now, why is it that I see sometimes the runners in the men's game holding batting gloves in their hands?
It's so if you have to slide head first, you're not going to jam your thumbs. It keeps your hands closed.
Oh, interesting.
Chopper on the infield in the hole. Eder, strong arm. They get him
Wow,
at first
phenomenal.
base. Had to go 3-4 strides to his right on the backhand. Plant, throw, and they get B.J. Gullick. Federico Eder doing it all here this week for the Circle Top Dukes. They'll keep that 3-0 lead. We'll head to the top of the 4th here on the ISC Network.
The shortstops in the
to an ISC event? Then stop waiting. Check out our website or social media pages and come be a part of the experience.
Yeah, Kegel from a couple years ago. Yeah. Who's that? Was that Darren's up?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could just tell by the hands.
Change up rise.
Yeah, he's got fingers like E.T.
She was my pitching lesson, and these two guys were playing for Bloomington Sticks, so they came out.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here's the replay here. Eder earlier in the game, the snap throw, and they get him over at first to end the inning. And then this last play here by Federico Eder as well. If we can get one look at that, that would be fantastic. Bring that one back to our viewers. In the meantime, we are going to lead things off with Matt Ratliff, Josh White, Zane Van Lieshout, 6, 7, 8 for the Circle Tap Dukes as they're enjoying this 3-0 lead here right now over the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Justin Schofield on in relief for the Fargo Knights and bounces this one in for ball one to Matt Ratliff. And this one is laced out to left. And again, just kept the hands inside, took that pitch where it was thrown, and able to take it opposite field out to left. And a lot of hitters, Lori, will try to pull that pitch. They'll end up grounding out somewhat weakly. But if you can trust the hands, keep them inside, and let the ball supply the power,
Absolutely.
and just line that out to left.
Absolutely. I mean, that's true for the entire game. If you can just let physics just do what they're do, if you can just let the laws of physics work for you instead of against you, then it's a much more effective way of approaching the game.
Josh White fouls this one straight back. Josh caught looking on a Brady Woods changeup. That was back in the second prior to the pitching change.
Right, but he hung in there. He had 6 or so strikes he fouled off.
Showing bunt here, gets out in front, tries to come down with the bat, but good drop there from Schofield, and unable to bring the bat down far enough, fast enough is Josh White.
What type of conditioning are these pitchers doing in their off season?
Well, Justin Schofield probably would be throwing in a gym, I would suspect, likely 3 times a week, if not more, during the off season. There would be the cardio, there would be the weight room training that they're on. They've all got, all of the Team Canada players, when I say they've all got a physical training program that's provided to them by the coaching staff from Team Canada, the physical trainers, and they're, you know, it's their responsibility, being in the 40-man pool, to adhere to it. There's regular check-ins with the training staff and whatnot.
So they're held to a pretty high standard
they
in terms of
absolutely
being
are.
as physically fit as possible.
Yeah, and when they come to the training camps, the first thing they do are the beat tests and the other PT tests before they even set foot on the field.
Excellent. And I expect that probably keeps the injury rate down as well.
I would think that it does. Certainly the athletes today, I think, are much fitter than the typical or the prototypical fastball player of days gone by. There are still the guys with the smokes and the beers, and everybody loves the beers here in this game as much as they used to, but it's done much more in moderation, I think, today for the most part.
Absolutely. I've had conversations with several of the pitchers here at ISCs, and they said they just do not drink alcohol during the season, which that impressed me.
Yeah, there's a lot of the guys, they'll get here for the week, and they're off the booze for the week. They're in bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock if they're not on the field. And it just misses inside. I know the successful teams, and being a part of the Toronto Gators team that won in 2016, the expectation was you take care of your body, you take care of yourself, and you're in good mental health as well as in good physical health.
And I think approaching the game that way is a very selfless way of approaching the game, because then you're a team player.
White, chopper on the infield. Barterillo will pick that up on the short hop, throws on the run, and gets Josh White, who runs very well. Outstanding play there by Tyrone Barterillo.
I have seen some phenomenal phenomenal plays by the shortstops in this ISC tournament thus far.
There's another highlight that would be great to see one more time. Just the athleticism that is on display. Zane Van Lieshout will come to the plate. Van Lieshout divides his time between the outfield and catching. When it is Leighton Reed or Daniel Chapman, you will very likely see Van Lieshout come in to catch. And this one is lifted up on the infield, popped up. That'll be gathered in by Chris Heinlein for the second out of the inning.
Catcher number 17, Leo Latassa.
And down to the 9 spot for Leo Latassa. There's the instant replay there from Federico Eder ending the inning. That great play. Back to live action.
It's interesting to see how far off of the line that third baseman's playing. It looks like they have a shift going on.
Yeah, Mason that's well spotted. Mason is about, I want to say, at least 10 to maybe now 12 feet off the line. Latassa is known as a pull hitter. You don't see the full shift that you see in Major League Baseball in softball, other than for a select few that I can think of over the top of my head over the years.
Yeah, I see the shortstop's playing awfully close to the second baseman.
Yeah, and he will keep the runner at second honest, because with Mason that far off the bag, it almost turns into a foot race.
That's right.
Between Matt Ratliff, the runner, and Derek Mason to get back to the bag on a steal attempt. But if Bartarillo circles in behind, they can always try to throw behind the runner. This one laced back up the middle. Bartarillo picks it up, throws to first, and gets him at first. Boy, that was in and out of the glove. Still picked it up.
He was right there. I mean, he would not have been playing there had that shift been on. That
you
was
were
really
absolutely
well played.
right. That was going to be right up the middle, but they had him scouted right. And defense wins games for you. It can also win championships. And right now, Fargo Kegel Black Knights have got it going on. They strand another. We're going to go to the home half. Kegel Black Knights coming to the plate.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the Kitchener River Shark Twins repeat. Back to back Jacks. It's the local kid who wins it.
Swing and a miss. Jarvis. 3-peats.
Adam Falkard. Absolutely perfect.
Here comes a throw to the plate. The United Kings are the world champions.
2015 ISC Men's World Champions.
Shane Boland has hit the game-winning home run, and the Toronto Gators are world champions.
Fittingly, it's Adam on the first, and the United Chiefs back to the top of the mountain.
Start out with
just discussing the importance of getting the outs how you can. It's not always the strikeout that you need or want, but if you can get a ground ball to get you a double play, that's just as good as, or even better than, the strikeout in a given situation.
One pitch with 2 outs with 1 pitch is the best way to go. 3 outs would be even better, and yet
if you could get a
pretty
default
special
out in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Zach Warren, the catcher, up at the plate for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. 7-8-9 here in the 4th inning. Called strike in the outside corner. For Fargo, it's important that you want to get at least 1 back now in the mid-innings. You don't want to go to the 6th and the 7th having to chase 3. If you can just narrow that gap a little bit, it would be a little bit less stressful.
Now, last time he was up, he hit that ball. Do you remember where he hit it?
Zach was down on strikes. I think he was a changeup victim for Roman Godoy, if I remember right.
So his first time up, he got a single?
No, I think that was the changeup strikeout.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He got a walk and then a strikeout.
this one fouled off.
I wonder if I have off there. So you are right. He was a strikeout victim. Let's see how Godoy goes after him with 2-2.
And works outside. Can't get him to chase.
Full count. We're at the number 7 hitter. We don't want to turn this lineup over, so let's see how Godoy goes after him.
Downstairs, but fouled off. Good opportunity there for Zach Warren to just foul that pitch off. Not going to be able to do anything really with that inside drop from Roman Godoy. Good crowd building here at Circle Tap. We've got the infield concourse mostly filled up and starting to see some people occupying those outfield bleachers. It's a Friday afternoon here in the greater Denmark, Wisconsin area, and it was a rainy start to the afternoon as well. And this one is lifted up, foul down the left side.
Now what's interesting about Warren is he is actually not as deep in the box.
Have the back foot on or after it gets erased.
Absolutely.
Beyond the confines of the back of the box, and the front foot is usually at the tip of the plate.
Yeah.
Not quite the case here. And there's the changeup, swing and a miss.
Got him.
Down on strikes again, Zach Warren. That's twice with the changeup. And twice he's pulled a string there with 2 strikes on Zach Warren.
Just seeing where he was positioning himself in the box, I was questioning whether or not he was a little bit impatient, and I think that was a good call by Godoy.
Yeah, good. He and Latassa on the same page there. And took something off that one again, so back-to-back. Jacob Rook over the top of that one. Daniel Chapman has the code off and throwing without in the right field bullpen. And third time in a row. And Rook actually, while out on the front foot, had the hands back, but pulled it foul into the screen. So 3 in a row from Roman Godoy.
That's just such a beautiful pitch.
That shows you the confidence that he's got in it right now. He's been throwing it for strikes. And there's the hard stuff, but it misses down. Todd Martin, Hall of Fame pitcher, always says, if you don't have the confidence to throw your changeup at any count, at any time, then you don't have a changeup.
Absolutely. You should be able to throw it with bases loaded, full count, 2 outs, and you're up by 1. Bottom of the 7th.
Swing and a miss. Jacob Rook chases upstairs, the rise ball, and a couple of strikeouts in a row here for Roman Godoy. He had gone a couple of base hits and some ground balls, but back to the strikeouts here in the 4th. Jeff Lewis will step in. Jeff, the 9 batter, and then Yusuf Davis awaits on deck at the top of the shop if they can turn the order over. And that pitch misses down low. Latassa holds it there for an extra couple of seconds to give home plate umpire Charlie Johnson a good look at it. You had a great look at it from your vantage point behind home plate right now. You can be the umpire along with us.
Yeah, I see that that the third baseman is really paying attention to his hands and is playing in. And you look at him, he's got a good read on that batter's hands.
Josh White playing third base, creeping in for Circle Tap. There's the changeup, and it floats in low. So 2 balls, 1 strike on the 9 batter, Jeff Lewis, who walked back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, he's still playing in. Is that typical to play that far in?
Well, I think he's respecting the speed that Jeff Lewis has right now. At a 3-1 count now on Jeff Lewis. You'll find that most guys will be 2 to 3 feet inside of the bag at regulation depth. If somebody's known as a pull hitter, you might back off.
Right.
But somebody who also is known for their short game capabilities, like Jeff Lewis,
Right.
you're going to come creeping into maybe 6 or 7 feet in front of the bag and just be able to get to
Right.
the bunt a little, or the short game a little bit easier.
Right, because I'm thinking of generations ago where we played halfway down.
Swinging a foul back, and the thing is, and you're right, and I remember playing at the start of that era where I would start roughly a third of the way in.
Absolutely.
And 15 feet in front of the bag. And these days, with the balls and the technology that we talked about earlier, you really can't.
And he's back now, so
Yeah.
so he was playing up a little bit closer than he's used to playing. Nice off-speed pitch.
Fouled it back. Good opportunity there. Good job by Jeff Lewis to stay alive. So full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases empty. The 9 batter at the plate for Fargo Kegel Black Knights. They need to get somebody on base and maybe bunch together a couple of base hits. Another foul off. So he's getting up into the 6-7 pitch range now. Yusuf Davis awaits on deck. He'll get his 3rd look at Roman Godoy. Daniel Chapman and the rest of the crew have retreated back to the sanctity of the dugout for now. So it is Roman Godoy. And works another walk. So when your 9 batter can work some walks, that's not too bad. And you don't want to be walking the 9 batter as a pitcher. And you see it is indeed the top of the shop, as touching the top of the cap is Josh White. Universal sign for top of the order. Davis, great speed, was thrown out on that excellent play by Federico Eder his last trip. Dudley is giving up a lot of ground between first and second, and Davis lifts this one up, down the line, and left, and that's going to fall out of play. So they're playing Davis opposite field. Davis would have the book, or rather Dudley would have the book on Davis. They spent a lot of time at the Team USA camps together this year. Dudley didn't make the trip down to Lima, but was on the World Championship roster for Prague. And just misses upstairs. Bit of a bluff off first base by Jeff Lewis. Latassa ready to come up throwing.
And it looks like Dudley is now switched over.
He's now taking a couple steps to his right again. So, yeah, you're right. They are playing him right up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
If he's able to pull it, he's pretty much got a free ride there. But they're pitching him away, away, away. So there's a sign of the entire defense being in on the game plan. And see
Absolutely.
This
They've all
more
shifted.
often than not. The infield might shift somewhere, and then the pitcher will cross them up, and
Right.
you get caught out of position.
And they want to keep him honest at first base.
On the
He's
move,
going.
There goes Lewis. Throw down. It's not in time, as Latassa couldn't get up out of the crouch. And Jeff Lewis, who doesn't have blazing speed but has good speed, and another stolen base for Jeff Lewis. It's the second one I've seen him pick up here this week. A very good jump off of first by Jeff Lewis. So Davis now with an opportunity to try and get Fargo on the board. And swing and a miss over the top. Good looking drop there from Roman Godoy in the outside corner. Closes the door on Fargo here in the 4th inning through 4 complete. It's the Dukes 3, Fargo no score in the ISC Network. Stay with us.
Whatever your delivery requirements are across North America, Skelton Truck Lines provides you with reliable, safe, and high-quality service at a fair price. Skelton Truck Lines equipment is satellite tracked and delivers small parcel, less than truckload, and expedited shipments throughout Canada and the U.S. With over 50 years of experience and more than 50 trucks serving 4 divisions, Skelton Truck Lines is a thriving Ontario business and a proud fastball sponsor. Visit us online at skeltontruck.com. Thanks to Mike Skelton for supporting the broadcast.
Well, it could be they picked it. Yeah, well, it could be that they picked it. Yes, he did. He bluffed once. Yeah. Okay. They put it back on. So off air, we're just discussing whether we think maybe there was a pick on the signs as the Circle Tap defense was kind of circling back and forth around waiting for that stolen base attempt. Latassa was unable to get out of the crouch, and the throw was bounced, but Jeff Lewis able to successfully steal second. Roman Godoy paid to that entirely, however, with the strikeout of Yusuf Davis. So
absolutely, he wasn't phased at all. He came back and he just shut that inning down, and that's the kind of pitcher that's got a very strong mental game.
We'll go to the 5th inning with Justin Schofield set to face Ryan Sinclair, Federico Eder, and Manuel Godoy. 1, 2, 3 in the Circle Tap Dukes order. And this one misses downstairs. There's a little black rain cloud kind of hovering over us right now, getting a couple of sprinkles out there. No umbrellas have come up just as of yet. This one misses downstairs. We had about an hour of rain. It came down really hard for about 20, 25 minutes or so, tapered off. Finally able to get the tarp off the field as this one is laced just foul past third.
I think that's the first time I've seen him swing. I know he did walk the first 2 times he was up. And he's ahead in the count, the batter is. It's a batter's count. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yes, Sinclair doing a real good job at the top of the orders. You said a couple of walks and a run scored back in the 3rd inning. And if you can work your way on base without having to swing the bat, all the more power to you. Misses there. A good drop on the outside corner from Justin Schofield.
Yeah, he's been keeping that ball down the entire time. In fact, both pitchers have been throwing drops exclusively to Sinclair.
And again, this one on the inside corner, Sinclair swings over the top, and a strikeout to open things up here in the 5th inning. Federico Eder came in batting over 600, singled and scored, picked up an RBI in the 3rd, a fielder's choice in the 1st. So by going 500, he's diminishing his average so far.
He really looks strong.
Yeah, and again, you were talking about the fitness levels with Team Argentina. They went through a couple of team building camps over their summer, which was our winter. And like I said, a lot of these guys came back with much improved physiques and a lot more power in the swings. And here's a chop. They will not get him at first. Safe.
Wow. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, he put on that muscle, packed on the muscle, so now he's a double threat. He's a power hitter plus a slapper. So he pretty much can get on base with his speed or with power.
That ball traveled about, I want to say, 45, 46 feet. But as soon as that first baseman, Jeff Lewis, came over to get that ball, you just knew that they were not going to get Federico Eder. It was a long way to come for Chris Heinlein and just wasn't going to get to the base in time the way Eder runs.
Ooh, chased a rise ball.
Yeah, Manuel Godoy, who had that big home run his last trip, trying to add another couple of RBIs to his total. Schofield's got a good rise. It isn't often in the strike zone, but really that's where your rise ball should be. Took something off that for the drop.
Beautiful.
And
Love how he
0-2.
mixed that up.
Yeah, great sequence there from Warren and Schofield.
I see anxiousness. I would think off speed's coming. Nope.
Just missed outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Important here for Schofield and Fargo to shut the door. And this one just misses up and in. You can't really give Circle Tap another run here at 4. It will be very tough to scratch out that many over the last couple of innings against Roman Godoy the way that he's pitching. Keeping it to 3 will be the key here.
He's
On
going.
the move is Eder. That one fouled off. Hit and run with Manuel Godoy. 2 balls, 2 strikes, protecting the runner. Schofield with the lean. Bluff, there's the changeup, and Manuel Godoy way out in front and down on strikes. So we've seen some world-class changeups here today from 3 of the pitchers. You called it? Knew it was coming?
Yeah, remember I said I just sensed a little bit of over anxiousness in his and he looked a little tense, like he just really wanted to barrel up again. And as a pitcher, when I see that, I know I'm going to throw off speed.
Inside to Blair Ezekiel for ball 1. On the move again is Eder. This one skips in, can't find it. Got to be careful that Eder doesn't take advantage and come all the way around to third. So a stolen base for Federico Eder. There's a record for that I'm going to have to go look up. But Federico Eder, I think that could be something he might be etching his name into the record book for this week. He's got a number of stolen bases already.
RBIs, 600 batting average.
Yeah,
bases.
he's having a whale of a tournament, making a bid here.
Yeah.
Ezekiel swings straight through that.
And it's made some phenomenal defensive plays at shortstop. Counts 2-1.
The winner of this game will play the Kitchener-Hallman Twins later this afternoon. They'll get a game off, and then they've got to come right back to it. Toronto Batmen, winners earlier over the Grand Prairie Pirates. Toronto Batmen, I can see several of them out in center right. They will take on the Hill United Chiefs coming up on this one. Pablo Migliavaca and Caleb Kishig are the starting pitchers for that one.
That's a
big gap out in center left right now as this one in the feet of catcher Zach Warren is out about a 39.5 footer from Schofield. And Zach Warren having trouble with those ones. That's more on the pitcher, I think, though, than the catcher. But up to third base is Eder. And while it is a very short fence here at John Miller Field, I've seen a few runs score on a wild pitch or a pass ball. Ezekiel chases up in the eyes for strike 3. Down go the Circle Tap Dukes, the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah,
Schofield closes the door. Stay with us. We'll go to the bottom half coming up. Hi.
Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM, operating from the 6 nations of the Grand River Territory, is dedicated to the promotion of Indigenous culture, positive initiatives, language, and music to our youth. We offer a unique blend of top 40, hip-hop, R&B programming, and Indigenous music. You can count on Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM to help your voice be heard. Our interactive call-in shows feature locally produced news, sports, health, current affairs, and social issues. Unique programming with an Indigenous perspective. Listen live at JucasaRadio.ca or download the Jukasa Radio app free from your app store.
Here, take some photos, right? I want a better one than last year. I looked even fatter than I am from last year's photo.
Oh, wait. Thank you. Want to see if you look fat?
Mostly, but that's all right.
Hey, but look.
There we go. We can crop.
Watch.
So back here in the booth on the ISC Network for the home half of the fifth inning coming up, it will be Chris Heinlein, Derek Mason, and Tyrone Bartarillo, 2, 3, 4 for Fargo. Right where you want to be in your order when you need to score some runs. But you've got to set the table first and foremost. And Roman Godoy is going to turn the back and take a long, slow walk. Gets the ball back from Latassa. Didn't like that call. Here's a chopper on the infield. That's going to go through the 5.5 hole. Heinlein is going to take the turnaround first. Take a look and aboard with a leadoff single. And this is what the Fargo Black Knights need to do right now, Lori, is get some runners on base, bunch the hits together, and have some guys out there for the power hitters like the Masons, like the Bartarillos, and try and bunch a couple of these together.
Yes, and I think that's the second time Chris has hit that single to the left field side, right?
Yeah, he had that single back in the first inning, advanced as far as second, and that's as far as any Fargo runner has gotten as second base. They haven't even gotten a runner to third yet here this afternoon. Mason takes a called strike, and he didn't like that one. So maybe I guess when you're getting complaints from both teams, you're doing a good job. Almost like the sun's trying to peek out behind this cloud here right up above us. That would be nice.
It looks like it's shining on the ball.
Right on the ball field, right here, John Miller Field at Circle Top. Just getting a little bit of sunshine. You see it starting to brighten up just a little bit here. Derek Mason at the plate, very dangerous. Doubled right off the top of that 16-foot fence his last trip. This one inside. Almost thought maybe that clipped Mace on the way by. We see Derek just about every morning at breakfast. We're in the same hotel, and we run into Derek and several of the Fargo players, Brady Woods, and some of the others. Justin Schofield's here with his wife, Montana, and their family. Daniel Chapman up throwing again for the Circle Top Dukes. There's the sunshine. You see it there.
I do. That's quite lovely to see after that big rainstorm.
It means we get to play more this afternoon.
I like when the catcher takes charge like this and makes sure that he and the pitcher are on the same page.
Yeah, and they haven't been always on that same page. And now he's going to turn around and just have a couple more words. Hey, man, remember what I just sold you? I'm telling you again.
Just so you know what I'm saying. Just so you know.
It's like doing a presentation.
Right.
Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them
Right.
to tell them what you told them.
Right. I saw him. He's looking behind that batter for a pickoff on the right side of that batter. So let's see.
Mason
He's
fouls
getting a
this
pretty
one
good jump.
back. Latassa didn't know where that one went. With the curvature of this backstop, quite often you'll see the ball just do the whole route and come right back out onto the field.
Now Mason's the one that drove it into right center for a
Yeah,
double.
Mason hit the top of the fence. Any other park, that's long gone.
Right.
Bit of a short porch here at Circle Top, estimating the fence is around 245, but then they put up this 16-foot monster all the way around it, and it takes a poke to get it out of here.
Nice little hustle on the catcher's part, keeping that runner at first.
Heinlein's got good speed, runs well. Battled some injuries over the last couple of years, was on Team USA a cycle or two back, but hasn't been able to get back to the big club right now, mostly due to those injuries.
And what injuries were those?
I want to say it was a shoulder, but I am not 100% certain. I thought it was a shoulder. He something happened to Chris at one of the tournaments, whether he slid in first and damaged a hand or a shoulder or something like that. Mason laces this one to center, coming across. They got a shot at first.
Wow!
Play.
Unbelievable.
Ryan Sinclair in on the run to pick up that hot shot off the bat of Derek Mason, and a bullet to first base to double off Chris Heinlein.
Look at Godoy.
Yeah, Manuel Godoy out there at first with the stretch to get that play. Roman Godoy very appreciative of the defense behind him, and you talked about it. One pitch,
That's
two
right.
outs.
2 outs, absolutely.
There it is.
He got the same pop on that ball. It just happened to be right at that center fielder who just rocketed it to first base.
Tough
Beautiful
play, tough break there for Derek Mason, hitting it hard. And maybe we can get another look at that throw from Ryan Sinclair back to first base to double off Heinlein. This one fouled off the foot by Tyrone Bartarillo.
He's done a good job of just getting his bat out there and poking it and just making sure he can keep that ball in play on the left side. Let's see if Godoy adjusts and maybe gets that ball down and in on him.
Well, they did. They come down and in right there. The thing is, you've got to be careful with Bartarillo, because if you hang it out over the plate too much, he'll park it out in right field. He's got plenty of pop and the ability to hit the ball out. Can also slap and run with the best of them as well. Jerome Bartarillo, one of the more accomplished hitters here. They went outside, tried to get the outside corner. Charlie Johnson, not extending his strike zone.
No, he's been consistent.
I think he's done a good job back there. I don't think there's anything that stands out as being amiss. And that is off the elbow pad of Tyrone Bartarillo, and that's why you wear those, so that it hits the pad and not your arm.
Absolutely.
So he'll take the long walk down to first, and we'll bring up Mike Lewis, the designated player for Kegel. Strikeout and a walk.
I'd be
today.
interested in seeing that again and seeing exactly how far his elbow was over the plate.
There's a reason Tyrone wears that shoulder, that elbow guard.
My favorite pitch to call is the dead ball strike.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times over the years where the guys will try to lean in. We're gonna have a meeting under the mound here, Scott Standerfer, and I'm wondering is that going to be it for Roman Godoy? Chapman had been warming a couple of times previously. Note this is just a strategy session.
Yep.
And Scott Standerfer will head back to the dugout, but I'm sure that the message has been received.
It looks like Zach is in charge, calling the shots right now.
So Mike Lewis looks at a called strike, and Godoy, when he's run into runners on base, has done a pretty good job of working ahead of the batters.
He does an excellent job of focusing on the batter and not being distracted by the runners.
And fills up the strike zone again, that one on the outside corner. So 0-2 on Mike Lewis. This inning started out promising for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, a leadoff single, but an excellent defensive play by Ryan Sinclair. And this one just off the outside corner. Godoy and shortstop Federico Eder will have a quick word. I don't know if Tyler Dudley speaks any Spanish, but he's going to try and horn in on the conversation. One ball, two strikes to Mike Lewis. Godoy sets, delivers, and Latassa wanted to throw that down but couldn't get the grip on it. Bartarillo diving back. Bartarillo, a very smart base runner, something that the Kiwis do extraordinarily well. And here's a chopper. That one goes foul off the bat of Lewis. Just a touch of the Gorilla Gold for Godoy, and comes in low. You got a great shot of that Gorilla Gold rag, that tacky rag just dangling out of his pocket. You'll see it when he turns around. There it is. And there's the touch. And you go to the ball. It just helps with the grip. And swing and a miss right over the top of that outside pitch. Mike Lewis down on strikes. And this inning, which looked it was going to be something for Fargo, ends up with nothing across. We're going to go to the top of the sixth. Circle Tap nursing along this 3-0 lead. Stay with us.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game in one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill on the grounds can't be beat. Reduced rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at ct16@greenbaynet.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to hear you the whole time, but I hear you now.
So Justin Schofield wraps up his warm-up pitches. And for the Circle Tap Dukes, it's going to be Tyler Dudley, Matt Ratliff, and Josh White.
Tyler Dudley.
That's a good one.
Dudley flied out to center field to end the first and then struck out ending the third. So Matt Ratliff has led off a lot of innings here for Circle Tap. He'll be next after Dudley here as Schofield comes in with the change to open things up here, top of the sixth inning. Three 3-0 lead. All of the runs came back in the third inning. Two of them on the home run by Manuel Godoy. Federico Eder had been aboard with an RBI single that scored Ryan Sinclair. I can hear you. Yep. I can hear you. And this one well hit, but that's going to go foul down the left side. Just a bit of a breeze blowing in now from center field as the flag lifts up off the pole. Dudley, that open stance at the back of the box, and now sets in and upstairs from Schofield and off the glove of Zach Warren.
Dudley likes that high pitch, and
he's chased after it a couple of times.
I think Schofield knows it.
Just missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Tyler Dudley, leading things off here in the sixth. The Circle Tap Dukes, that 3-run lead. They've been nursing that along, and this one is flared out to left, back in the corner, and gone. Tyler Dudley
with the home run.
went down and got that one. That
Way to
pitch
go,
was
Tyler.
down. A little look up skyward. And Tyler Dudley will get the high fives from the Circle Tap Dukes. We'll take a look at that one again if we can. But I thought that pitch was down in the zone, and he went and got it and lifted it up and out to left field.
From a mother's perspective, I have to tell you that 2 years ago when I saw his mother cheering him on at the ISCs, it was very moving.
Well, and he just lost somebody very important to him. That was the look skyward. And for Tyler Dudley, I'm sure a bit of an emotional moment right there. Good for Ty.
Yes. I'm happy for him.
Missing downstairs. So Matt Ratliff singled back in the fourth inning and flied out to left in the second. Circle Tap now with a 4-0 lead. They've used the long ball to good effect here today. A little bleeder picked up by Mason. And the easy flip to first for the first out of the inning.
Third baseman number 4, Josh White.
That'll bring up Josh White, third baseman, just watching Zane Van Lieshout. Going to hurry out from the dugout and come all the way around to the opposite side where the on-deck batters are allowed to go so that they're not in the field of fire on anything that is coming off the bat. And a called strike. So this game gets a little bit more interesting now as Fargo will have some urgency in their at-bats in the 6th and into the 7th. Going to be difficult chasing 4 big runs now off of Roman Godoy the way that he's been pitching.
Interesting seeing him take 2 strikes in a row. He's the one that had 6 or so. Good eye.
Yeah, he had a really good bat. I felt back in the 4th inning. He grounded out ultimately, but fouled off a lot of pitches. Did the same thing in his first at-bat, although he got caught looking on the change ultimately. And there chases downstairs. So Josh White can't solve Justin Schofield in second out of the inning.
And that first pitch was the best pitch he saw.
Zane Van Lieshout will step in.
Left fielder number 73, Zane Van Lieshout.
Van Lieshout had a great season down in New Zealand, leading into the Black Sox campaign over in Prague. Did a lot of the catching for the Black Sox. And like I said, I think were Daniel Chapman to come into the game, you would probably see Van Lieshout put the pads on. Schofield misses with that offering. 2-0. And this one is lifted up to right, ranging back, close to the track, and just onto it is right fielder B.J. Gullock. He'll reel that one in for the final out of the inning. But a home run by Tyler Dudley increases the lead to 4-0 for Circle Tap. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Kegel Black Knights still looking for a run.
If a man runs for president, interviews for a high-level job, or needs a good table at a smart restaurant, chances are he'll be wearing a suit. Mr. Ned is your custom tailor in New York City. Located at 137 Fifth Avenue, we provide our clients with the highest quality custom suits at affordable pricing. Our range of fabrics is second to none and will fit the needs of any well-dressed professional. Whether it be everyday business attire or a special occasion, we have the ability to make you a man of distinction. Visit the store at 137 Fifth Avenue in New York or see us online at MrNedNYC.com. We thank Mr. Ned and Var Matosian for generously supporting the broadcast program.
I don't know. There's something else going on here.
So new pitcher for the Circle Tap Dukes. It'll be Daniel Chapman, the 21-year-old from New Zealand, on to pitch. Latassa still catching, so I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see Zane Van Lieshout. But Roman Godoy goes 5 strong, keeps the Fargo at-bats, off balance throughout. Base runners in every inning, but just managed to scatter the hits enough, and nobody was able to bunch anything together.
Yeah, and some incredible defensive play and a little bit of luck, hitting them right at him.
Yeah, give some credit to the shortstop, Federico Eder, who has really helped out on the defense. Chapman, one of the hardest throwers in the game, just coming out of the junior men's ranks, but he will touch 80, 82 miles an hour when he is in full flight. Big rise ball. This will be the difference between Ramon Godoy and Daniel Chapman. You'll see many more rise balls up and out of the zone from Chapman. And there's a little change-up, poke foul. So 0-2 on BJ Gullick. BJ's grounded up the middle twice, once to second, once to short. And while Daniel Chapman has come on to pitch, Leighton Reed has moved on to the bullpen. As this one is poked out to left, ranging across, making the grab out there in left field, Zane Van Lieshout.
Catcher number 33, Zach Warren.
And we will go to catcher Zach Warren. And in with the little low rise, but that pitch had a lot of zip to it. And swinging a foul off. Just we're looking at different pitching grips as Lori has got some shots of Daniel Chapman on her phone. We're looking at a drop grip right now where he's got two fingers across the seam.
Yeah, it looks like a four-seam drop, and then his change-up grip, which he keeps deep in his hand.
That one upstairs, the rise ball. A lot of men will throw the rise ball with the knuckle on the seam, exactly like that, with the gripping the seam and then bending the knuckle around it. Right. Todd Martin used to always talk about opening up a door when he threw his rise ball.
Right, I teach my girls to open a door and squirt a gun at the same time.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Zach Warren. So making quick work here is Daniel Chapman. 2 quick outs, and we'll go to Jacob Rook. 1 for 2 on the afternoon. A single. It got as far as second base, and then a strikeout in the 4th. And this one is laced and caught by Tyler Dudley. Goes up the ladder, takes away a base hit from Jacob Rook. The defense, they came to play here for the Circle Tap Dukes this afternoon. We're going to go to the top of the 7th. Stay with us. Yeah, Circle Tap out in front, 4-0.
That home run sure.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Back on the ISC Network, Justin Schofield has got to close the door here for his team to have any chance of a comeback. Circle Tap Dukes, a 4-0 lead here, top of the 7th inning. It'll be the catcher, Leo Latassa, followed by Ryan Sinclair at the top of the shop, and the ever-dangerous Federico Eder. Manuel Godoy, who has a 2-run home run back in the third inning if it gets all the way down to him here this inning. Lori, what's the one thing that stood out for you so far this game?
17, Leo
I would say the composure. I would say what's really stood out to me this game is the composure of Godoy and the control that the catcher has taken of the game. He's really showed that he's in charge and that he's going to keep Godoy calm and that he's going to make sure that they can put away this game.
Leo Latassa, the catcher of note that we're just discussing right now, is up at the plate.
And he stood out to me. He's fantastic. I would say as well, Federico with his incredible defensive plays and his that beautiful slap that he beat out. That was just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's been a very good day for Federico Eder as well. Schofield just misses off the outside corner. Upstairs, we'll keep an eye out for a possible interview candidate. If we can get Kyle Smith to come back to the booth here for us, maybe we can get a quick interview with Tyler Dudley at the end of the game.
Absolutely. He's really he's pitching a little bit harder right now.
Yeah, Scof is throwing hard, is noted for the velocity that he's got. He's going to be in and around the 80-mile-an-hour mark when he is on. So Latassa down.
Nice strikeout called pitch on the outside corner there. He's really figured out that umpire's strike zone, and he's really painting the corners nicely this entire game.
Back to the top of the shop for Ryan Sinclair. A couple of walks and a strikeout, a run scored, and a productive day defensively as well. It's really breaking the back, I think, for Fargo was that play, that hot shot off the bat of Derek Mason. Looked like it might get into the gap, but Sinclair coming across and then just a bullet throw back to first to double off Chris Heinlein. And here's one that's laced foul down the right side and sends the coach, Dean Kane, scrambling. My good friend Dean Kane, a fellow ISC commissioner. There's not a lot of room here on the diamond. The fans are very close. Like there's very little room in foul territory. The fans are right on top of you, which is beautiful for the fans. But as a coach, you don't have a lot of room to maneuver out there when a foul ball comes your way. Ryan Sinclair down on strikes as Schofield K's the first two here in the inning.
He seems like he's getting stronger as the game goes on. Nice drop there.
So Federico Eder will make his fourth plate appearance of the game. 2 for 3 at the moment. RBI, stolen base, run scored, and this one poked foul. I would not be surprised to see him try to drop down another one. Just drag it with him towards the right side, and if he can get Lewis to leave the bag, it'll be virtually impossible from where Chris Heinlein is. You see Chris Heinlein out at second. It'll be almost impossible for him to get to first in time. But had a massive cut and sent our camera skywards. Come on, Federico. What are you doing to us here?
That was quite a cut.
So you see what it was like to get a foul ball right into your living room. And we'll go out to the center field cam as there's the slap attempt, and fielding that one rather adroitly over there in the on-deck batter's box is Manuel Godoy.
I wonder if that's something that's called or if that's something that he makes the decision about himself.
Oh, he'll have the green light to just go up and do whatever
he wants.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. And swinging a
Got him.
miss. Schofield strikes out the side.
Yes.
Top of the 7th inning. Hopefully lighting a fire under his Fargo Black Knight teammates. They're down to their final 3 outs.
For all your team uniform and equipment needs, fastball, slow pitch, and hockey, for players and teams, make sure you visit Corbett Source for Sports on the South Service Road in Oakville, Ontario. There's a lot of deals to be had on all kinds of equipment. Thank you to Paul Hurd and Corbett Source for Sports for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Yeah.
I feel like since.
Well, he made one bad pitch right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's almost like, did he get warm enough?
Well, I mean, yeah. He was throwing while he was. We are back to the top of the bottom of the 7th inning. It's last call for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights. Jeff Lewis, Yusuf Davis, and Chris Heinlein. Those 3 need to set the table for the Big Boppers, for Derek Mason, and for Tyrone Bartarillo.
Did you say Big Boppers?
The Big Boppers. I did. I did. I went there. I said Big Boppers.
Oh, I think that's the first time I've heard Big Boppers. Attempted a drag bunt there. Gone foul. Counts now 1-2.
Charades. Lewis has worked a couple of walks in the 9 spot, and you can't ask much more from that from your
That
9 batter.
that was
if
a
you
pretty
can't
nice
get aboard.
pitch.
But yeah, Latassa wondering where that one was. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Lewis, Davis, Heinlein, they need to set the table. But swing and a miss. Down goes Jeff Lewis. Can't catch up to that rise ball from Daniel Chapman. Kid's got some zip on it today. Back to the top of the shop. It'll be Yusuf Davis. He'll get his 4th trip. A couple of strikeouts sandwiched around a great play by Federico Eder. And looks at a drop ball down.
He's got an incredibly long stride, doesn't he? Looks like he's landing about 6 inches out of the circle.
Yeah, he really pushes hard. And this one misses downstairs as well. So 2-0 on Yusuf Davis. Good hitters count here. Latassa and Chapman will want to get on the same page.
Yeah, and settle him down.
Well, he's a youngster, right? This is not his first season in the ISC. He's already got a no-hitter this week to his credit, and 2 no-hitters in the ISC in the last 2 years.
That's fantastic.
So as a young man, he's already making his mark. Future ace of the New Zealand Black Sox. And chopped on the ground. Eder, nice and smooth, throws out Yusuf Davis. So smooth over there.
Yep, playing loose. They're nice and loose, that infield.
We'll head to Chris Heinlein. Last hope here for the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, in danger of their World Tournament coming to an end.
He's gone left twice, correct?
He has grounded out to third, and he has hit 2 singles to left field, so he has been
3 times to the left
dead
side.
pole every time. Upstairs, Coming up next, Hill United Chiefs, Toronto Batmen, Pablo Migliavaca and Caleb Kishig, the starters for the Chiefs and the Batmen, respectively, an Ontario battle. And it will be Kyle Smith and I believe Dave Weldon are going to bring that one to you. And this one about a 42-footer from Chapman. Three and one on Chris Heinlein here as Daniel Chapman trying to close the door to put pay to this one, and that's fouled off to the screen. So we'll go to a full count on Chris Heinlein. Circle Top Dukes on the precipice of moving on to the losers bracket round a little bit further and staying alive, trying to get back to Championship Saturday. The Dukes, last year's finalist, some work to do to get to that championship game here on their home field. Just inside. Boy, some courage to take that pitch with 2 strikes. That will bring up Derek Mason. Mason's hit the ball very hard his last 2 at-bats. The double off the fence and then that line shot to straightaway center field. So this one not done just yet. And a called strike. Mason didn't like that call off the outside corner or on the inside corner, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, I don't think anybody behind the home plate did either.
Now, there's a lot of amateur umpires in behind home plate.
Everybody's an umpire.
And Mason goes after this high heater from Daniel Chapman. So he's down in a hole 0-2. The Fargo Kegel Black Knights again
Watch
down
him.
to their final strike.
He'll take a nice breath. Watch. See that?
Yep. This one is lifted up to left field, ranging back over on the track, makes the catch. Circle Top Dukes will win this one 4-0. They will advance. For the Fargo Kegel Black Knights, it'll be a tie for 7th place at the ISC World Tournament. We're going to go to an interview with Kyle Smith very shortly. We're going to try and get Tyler Dudley to go over and talk about that home run. Lori, anything that you'd like to hear Kyle ask Tyler?
Tyler, I'd like to know if Tyler knew that was over. He seemed as though I watched him as he was rounding first, and he looked a little surprised. He was sprinting, and then he slowed down. So I'd like to know if he thought it was fair, foul, or over, and what his thoughts were. And also, I'd like to congratulate him. He's a good friend of mine.
All right, well, we'll hope to get Kyle Smith with that opportunity with Tyler Dudley. Stay with us. In the meantime, Ramon Godoy works 5 innings. Gets the win. And there we got Tyler Dudley just getting the final set of handshakes from his teammates. We'll get Kyle and Tyler set up here. Ramon Godoy with the win. Brady Woods will take the loss. It'll be Kyle Smith doing the interview here. We'll get that queued up. Ready to go for Kyle when you are.
Thanks, Blair. Joined by Tyler Dudley from the Circle Top Dukes. Duds, a big follow-up win from yesterday after a bounce-back win last night.
Yeah, we had to kind of get the momentum going, and I think early in the game, it was a close game. Pitching was tough on both sides, and then we managed to get a runner on, or 2 runners on, and then Manu lost the ball, which got the momentum in our dugout for the rest of the game, I would think.
You had a big hit, big home run here for the boys. What'd you see in that at-bat?
The first at-bat, he threw me a second pitch changeup, and I was way out in front, so what I did was what I call my 2-strike approach. I put my foot down early, just tried to keep my hands back a little longer, and was lucky enough to push it out of the yard.
Looking forward, another game yet today. What's on your mind getting ready for that one?
One pitch at a time. I mean, the guys, our boss wants to win this, obviously, and I think we're in the right spot right now. Our pitching's doing what it wants to, and we're scoring runs. So If we can keep doing that, I think we got a good chance at getting to the final.
All right, Tyler, we'll let you go. Good luck, and we'll see you later tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tyler Dudley from the Circle Tap Dukes. Send it back to you.
All right, Lori Cook-Baird, final thoughts here on the Circle Tap 4-0 win over the Fargo Kegel Black Knights.
Very impressed. Excellent defense. I think the pitching was phenomenal. I'm most impressed with the way that Latasha controlled that game, took charge, and kept that team focused, calm, and kept them in the game until the very last out.
So a big 4-0 win for the Circle Tap Dukes. They'll stay alive. They'll be back on the ISC Network a little bit later this afternoon. I want to thank Lori Cook-Baird for being with us here this afternoon. Great to have you. Stay tuned. Coming up, Hill United Chiefs, Toronto Batman. For Lori, Kyle, Blair Setford, thanks for being with us here on the ISC Network.